Now that is definitely your target. Right, let's try and fast it up.
No! Stay alive! The hunt sings!
What's up, it's your boy Dick, one back here again. Today we have an update for the NORRIS FLAK build. This is a build that I put together a while back. It was actually named by the community, NORRIS, because utilizing the power of luck, we're able to do just as much damage as, Chuck Norris out here. We do a whole lot of work. It is a fantastic setup. We have some of the fastest times for the Maliwan Takedown on True Takedown mode. We have some of the fastest times for killing Wotan on True Takedown mode as well. And if we bring it into the lower difficulty stuff, it's just going to eat through that content at an amazing pace. Is actually going to be pretty devastating. So one thing to keep in mind is that the Lucky 7 is part of the Moxxi's Heist DLC, so you will need that in order to play this build. The Stackbot as well as the Ion Cannon are both part of Moxxi's Heist DLC. And then there are two things that are time sensitive. The Terranoid on the Stopgap is something that is time sensitive, as well as the Terranoid on the Quasar. In order to go in and grab these at this point, you will need to hop inside of a Discord, inside of a Reddit, inside of a Craigslist ad. You will need to hop around a little bit in order to go ahead and grab these pieces of gear. There's a cool general FLAK Discord that I like to pop up in every so often, and I'll have that inside the pinned comment. They have been able to help out with Gunboy items, which is a build that's on this channel for those that are unfamiliar. They've been able to help out with items for that build and some of the other builds on this channel, so you guys can hop in there for a console that kind of want some of those items and want to ask for those items inside of there, or just want to chill out and hang out with some other quality people. And then for PC, I have a save file inside the description, so that way you guys can just download and get rolling. Now let's hop into the build. We got the Lucky 7 right here. So for those that are unfamiliar, the Lucky 7 can work as a better Maggie. Maggie is a fantastic pistol, one of the better pistols inside this game. But once you get the good rolls with the Lucky 7, you basically have a souped up Maggie. So I'll go ahead and show you. We can reload right here. And we get different buffs to pop up. Right here we got the bullets, which means that we have rapid fire. So we can hold down and shoot this thing at an amazing pace. Right here we got 7, so that's going to give us 7 pellets. And for the big damage. Right here we just got 7 pellets, we got automatic crit, we got rapid fire, and we got shock. So you can see how that damage goes up. And the crits are purple. You see that they're purple. You can see the 7 pellets a lot better now due to it being purple crits. And you can see how this thing can get a little bit insane already. And then once again, we just got rapid fire. So there is a reload trick. I'm going to show you real fast and I'll break it down. You just find a nice pace for it. And you just grab whatever reload buffs that you actually do want. You can do it faster as well, but people can't really see that fast unless you're an absolute monster. But basically what I'm doing is I'm hitting reload, I'm swapping to one of my other guns, and then I'm swapping back. On PC I'm pressing R2 and then 1, and just do that at a decent pace, and you're able to get your rolls to pop up a bit better. If you duck with it, it moves the icons at an angle, and it's going to allow you to see the things a little bit better. It works better on like monotone surfaces, so that way you can It works better on monotone surfaces, so you're able to see it a little bit better. But that is pretty much the reload trick. Works out much better than what we were doing before with manually reloading or hitting a melee attack and all that other good stuff. Hey, we got our roll. Nice. So what you actually want to go ahead and have for your Lucky 7 are going to be crit roll, 7 pellets, as well as explosive is going to be your optimal setup. Having crit roll on top of 7 pellets is going to be very good as well. You will be able to clear through the Maliwan Takedown with just those 2 rolls at a very good pace. You're going to be utilizing those 2 rolls in conjunction with the Stackbot class mod. As long as you're hitting those crits, you're going to get a whole lot of weapon damage increase up to a certain maximum. Now the Stackbot ends up resetting off of a lot of things, and a couple things don't end up resetting it. I have a nice list pop up. The general idea of the Stackbot resets comes down to non-crits, including dots, So those can be elemental dots, those can be elemental dots from your pet, elemental dots from barrels, dots from dipping dots. Any type of dots is going to end up resetting. So hollow point was one of the things that resets your Stackbot and was one of the main issues with the Stackbot at a certain point in time, because you kill an enemy with a critical hit. That explosion does non-crit damage if it ends up hitting another target, and that would end up resetting your Stackbot. So essentially, you critting was resetting your Stackbot to a certain degree. But now that we can actually turn this off, this works out relatively well. We get a bit more consistency out of this class mod. So now we'll talk about the other pieces of gear inside this build. The Maggie as well as the ion cannon are here to kind of catch us if we ever do end up going down. As you get better and better with the build, you won't run into that situation at all. The Maggie is basically a mini Lucky 7 nowadays, which is a wild thing to say because the Maggie is a fantastic gun. It does a ton of damage, and the same things that benefit the Lucky 7 are going to benefit the Maggie. What I mean by that are like substats, so something like the Jacob's weapon critical damage as well as the pistol damage. We're going to end up helping out the Maggie a whole lot, and this is going to be able to do very good damage for just general mobbing. Inside this build setup, if you have the right rolls, you'll be able to do cool damage to bosses and all other good stuff. There is a dope combination that you can use for bosses where you shoot the enemy 2 times and then you swap to another gun and then shoot them with the ion cannon. Swapping gear or swapping items does not end up resetting the Stackbot at all, which is a very cool thing. So I'll show you this little feature real quick. Gonna shoot 2 times. And all of that ended up stacking up the Stackbot for us. And now we just hit homie in the head for 16 million. The Dictator is a good gun for this build setup. You can use one with consecutive hits inside of Gorillas in the Mist, and you'll be able to do a whole lot of DPS to certain bosses, especially Grave Ward. Once again, it is a situation where you don't want dots, so running a cryo one is a good option. Running a base one is also a good option in terms of kinetic, and you'll be able to eat through these different bosses at a good pace. You can re-roll the Lucky 7 relatively fast, but you just want fast consistency. Run a Dictator, run a Bang Stick, run a Stagecoach, and shoot the ion cannon. You have a lot of good options. Inside of the original iteration of this build, we were running into an issue where we were hitting our max ammo capacity of 1,000, and then that ammo capacity was eating into our magazine for the Lucky 7. So it looks something like this. We would shoot, and then we pick up ammo, and now we just have 11 as our max, and we couldn't go above that. And then over time, it would slowly chip deeper and deeper and deeper into our overall magazine for our Lucky 7. At a certain point, it would force us to reload, and it would mess up the overall run of the build, or overall flow of the build. More so, it would end up chopping it up. So now we have the Baby Maker, which was a suggestion by Thick-Fillet, a fellow YouTuber that does some pretty cool Zane stuff and other general, Borderlands things. But what we want to go ahead and do, we just throw the thing a few times. And you can do this while walking, you can do this while, listening to an ebook, or whatever you want to go ahead and do. And with all that ammo gone, we no longer hit our cap, and our ammo issue is completely fixed. So for our shit, we're rocking the stopgap. This is going to allow you to get 5 seconds of immunity. Within 5 seconds, you're able to do a lot of DPS, and that's going to allow you to clear out our area. It's going to allow you to get your next fadeaway, going to allow you to reposition and reset a general fight. So it's going to give you a lot of opportunity to play around with inside that 5 seconds. Works out a bit better than the Transformer. This is locked at 50 because the Halloween event ended before we ended up getting a level increase. So 50 is going to be the highest you'll be able to find this thing in. And then the Quasar, whatever grenade that you have, it doesn't matter at all. Make sure that you have corresponding Terra Annoyance on these things, 1 ammo regeneration, and then 1 apply Terror. They're going to be the things that you're looking for. The grenade does not matter at all. You're never going to be throwing this thing out. We talked about the Stackbot. It's good because we're hitting crits, and crits increase our weapon damage. You want to find one with pack tactics on it, which is going to give you more HP as well as more damage. And the action skill cooldown rate is going to be the substat that you mainly want to find. The action skill cooldown rate is going to allow you to get more and more fadeaways, which is going to allow you to stack up more terror, which is going to give you more ammo regeneration, and that's going to help out your overall DPS because you'll be able to shoot out your Lucky 7 even more. So for the artifact, you can run something like a Snowdrift or something like a Last Stand. Both of these are going to work out well. Last Stand is a bit better for those that are a bit more unfamiliar with the build, and it depends on your playstyle too. You might like Snowdrift a little bit more at the beginning, So Snowdrift Auto Idle are both good, or Snowdrift Victory Rush, or Last Stand Victory Rush, Last Stand Auto Idle are very good options. The restoration of the HP is cool for having a bit more sustain oriented setup, while the Victory Rush is going to allow you to move by a bit faster. And then for the substats, magazine size is going to be the big thing that I recommend. That's going to allow you to get back much more ammo when you are using the Terror ammo regeneration, and we're utilizing this with the pistol damage. If you do like to reroll for the explosive rounds, the area of effect damage on the left is going to be something that's going to give you a lot of value. And then if you don't want to reroll for that most of the time, or if you don't really want to capitalize on the explosive damage, you want to go ahead and go for something on the right. Left is perfectly fine. The action skill cooldown rate that you're getting on the right is all right. You don't necessarily need it. Just having the action skill cooldown rate on the class mod is more than enough. And you can go into like HP regeneration or something like that. I'm gonna cover the skill tree real quick. It's not anything too crazy. 3 points to leave no trace, so that way you get back the ammo. 3 points to the head count. And then the rest of this is really just getting damage. There's not really anything too crazy in here that I need to point out. And then one quick note, Hunter's Eye, it actually does not get the same value as you see right here. It is a bit less, but due to us getting pretty good armor damage versus robots, and the Maliwan Takedown being pretty heavy in some of the robots that we ended up fighting, we're getting a cool amount of value from Hunter's Eye, and there's really not another spot to put these points to get to that next little tier. So we have 3 points to Persistence Hunter. That's going to give us cool gun damage as well as action skill duration. So for the green tree, there are a couple different options that you can play around with. One that's going to work out a bit better for the people that are newer to the build, and this is a variation that works out a bit better for the people that have experience with the build and can just fly through the content in general. So we have 5 points into Self-Repair System for HP, 5 points into Fear's Attack for more damage, 4 points into Eager to Impress. The faster we get our cooldown back, the better. We run into a situation where we're one-shotting or two-shotting a lot of the enemies, so that extra cooldown reduction is a cool little thing to get us back inside of fadeaway as soon as possible. So turn down the run, HP regeneration, damage reduction. We're not really going to get the gun damage or the fire rate too often because we're not really going to be standing still. The Fast and the Fear is going to give us nice gun damage and movement speed, Rage and Recover for some HP regeneration, and then the power inside is fantastic because we are getting a big boost in overall damage. We don't need to use Megavore because we have a lucky 7 that is automatically critting, and we rock Until You're Dead for our augment, so that way we can zoom around a bit faster and get that HP regeneration. And Blinking Eye is fantastic to get us even more damage. So some of the different options that you can play around with. One, for the people that are a bit more unfamiliar with the build, you're going to take your points out of Eager to Impress. You're going to put 2 to 3 points inside of All My BFFs. And you can even put 1 point to Lick the Wounds. That's going to be something that's going to be able to catch you when you do end up going down, and then you can reset. And it gives you a nice little safety net. You will get to a point where you can just fly through without Lick the Wounds at all and without going down. It's going to take a little bit of effort. And inside of the setup where you do have All My BFFs at like 2 or 3, as well as Lick the Wounds, or you can just have all your points into All My BFFs and have 1 point into Eager to Impress, you do want to rock Not My Circus. So Not My Circus is a fantastic skill. It acts as a pseudo gamma burst. It is very, very good. And it's just a fantastic skill to utilize. One of the key things that we don't have inside of this build is Hidden Machine. So the reason why we don't have any points in the Hidden Machine is because, one, we're using Until You're Dead most of the time. And the reason why this is relevant, because when an enemy is targeting you and they're focused on you, when you pop Fade Away, you're not actually de-aggroing. So that's something that you guys have probably already seen a couple times just playing FLAK. You can tell with like the Tink Turrets, that thing will track you from Slaughter Shaft to Sanctuary, from you talking to Lilith, from you completing a quest, and from you talking to Lilith again. It will track you the whole way through. That thing has a insane tracking ability. So that tracks you crazy. AoEs track you very, very well. And you can tell that you're not actually invisible when you pop Fade Away. And it's the same situation with some of the other enemies. Even though it may seem like you de-aggro, that's not the situation. So Hidden Machine is not giving us as much value as we thought originally. This is something that we've known about for a little bit, but we circumvent that process, or circumvent that issue, by capitalizing on Not My Circus. Having taunts inside of your builds, such as Not My Circus or the Red Fang class mod on Gamma Burst, is going to pull the aggro over to your pet, and that's going to act as a different target, so that way FLAK is going to be able to get that extra bonus damage. So if you don't have Not My Circus, you don't want Hidden Machine at all, The Not My Circus taunt range isn't the greatest, and it is at a delay. 9 times out of 10, we're going to be blowing up enemies that aren't taunted, and we're not really going to be getting that damage as often as we really want to. It's a cool little damage bonus, and it's a cool little damage bonus, but it's not really that great. With this build and the way that this thing works, the extra 5 points into Rage and Recover felt like a better overall point distribution for this good old FLAK. And that's basically it for the build. If you guys have any questions about anything, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I have attached a full Maliwan Takedown Mayhem 4 True Vault Hunter mode, True Takedown mode, takedown. I said takedown like 42 times, but that is attached to the end so that way you guys can see how this thing plays. This is a pretty cool little run. Let me know what you guys think. That is it for your boy. Adios.
Intel says there's an elevator down to the lower levels. Make your way there and be ready for some heavy resistance. I'm counting on you, Vault Hunter.
You there. How will your fast friends go? Need my positions. They'll never. More! I send you all to death! Valkyries fall, and death smires.
Those were advanced mechs, but we're off to something bigger. Keep going.
A good hunt. Beast, stay strong. This is my purpose. They'll never. I am the Alpha.